Thank you to everybody for joining us tonight. My name is Daniel Meeker. I'm the president of the Swiss Finance and Technology Association, and I would like to welcome you to this event. Given the current social environment that we're all experiencing, this makes it even more important, and we're really proud to provide this tonight and look forward to meeting you in the networking part of the event. This is our third online networking event, and this time is the focus is women in innovation, which is a very important topic for us. We're still learning, so please bear with us on the technical side, but we're getting better, and also please feel free to provide some feedback after the event so we can improve future events. I would like to give those of you who are less familiar with the association a brief introduction to the SFTA, as we call it. We're an independent association representing all stakeholders neutrally, and we work as a center of gravity to foster the development of the Swiss fintech ecosystem. One of our main activities is to organize events to bring together the key stakeholders in the Swiss and global finance and technology community. The association has 3 chapters, a chapter model and 3 chapters, so that's Zurich, the western part of Switzerland, and the newest chapter is Basel. We also do online events, of course, and partner events locally and globally. Other important parts of the association are advocacy, research, support, social media, marketing promotion for our fintech members, mentoring, and more. As you know, tonight's event is free to attend and it's open to non-members. However, to take full advantage of the association and everything it has to offer, I would recommend those who are interested to join and become an official individual member. That was also my first step that I took when joining the association, and I saw a very captivating event 2 years ago which caught my eye, and my interest grew and grew, and as did my participation leading up to tonight with me presenting here to you. If you do join as an individual member, what I can promise is that with tonight being a perfect example, you will meet new and fascinating people. You're going to participate in fun and topical events. You'll learn new things, and you'll gain insights to topics that you probably didn't even know existed. You could have the chance to speak at events. You can get involved in committees. You can share your insights. You could become a mentor. There's really a huge amount of possibilities. Finally, I would like to say thank you to our team who made this event possible. Furthermore, the panelists who have agreed to share their important insights. And I'll now hand over to Rebecca Gieberg, our head of partnerships, who will be moderating our event.
Thanks, Daniel. Hopefully everybody can hear me. So good evening, everybody. I'm happy to be moderating this event this evening, and we'll be speaking to our 4 speakers in just a few moments. Just a few words of introduction from me. So my name is Rebecca. I'm based in Geneva, where I work for an asset manager in their technology solutions division. Alongside my day job, as Daniel mentioned, I'm head of partnerships for the SFTA. I've been a member of the association now for nearly a year, and as Daniel mentioned, it's really opened my eyes to a number of networking possibilities. In terms of my background, I've been working in financial technology for around 20 years now. I got into fintech without fintech even really being a thing back then. I worked for a bank called Bearings, which some of you might know about, which was the rogue trader Nick Leeson, and worked on developing the product that then they used for risk management to avoid such events happening again. Back then, I actually trained as a trader, and then decided that I was more fascinated by the technology aspect of it. And I remember back then when I asked my manager if I could move out of the business and into technology, he said to me, they should be the same thing. We shouldn't be talking about finance and technology. They should be one and the same. And I'm happy to say that 20 years later, we seem to be almost in that situation. It's see the two working in parallel and benefiting each other. So I spent a number of years in investment banking and then moved into private banking, which is how I ended up in Switzerland now, and speaking to you to be moderating this event. So now I'm going to hand over to our speakers, who hopefully can activate their cameras and be able to speak to you. Over to you, Angie, first of all, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Anjali Larha. I'm the founder of Fair Money. Fair Money is a digital bank that focuses on Women Plus and including trans women who identify as women. And I'm so happy to be here today and to participate in this event.
Thanks, Angie. Over to you, Beatrice.
Good evening. Very happy to be with you tonight. My name is Beatrice Jacot. I come from wealth management. After 47 years, almost half a century, with the same employer with the Switzerland AG, mainly located in Lausanne, this beautiful canton Vaud, where we have and also a nice view to the mountain. During all those years, I have experienced many innovation and especially the great transition of the Swiss banking sector. These innovations have accelerated in recent years. Regard to innovation, my goals were to be involved myself in new project, and what was important to me was to be in the project of the academy. It's newly learning courses giving opportunities to female clients to familiarize themselves with the and I was really very happy to be a member of this project. Yes?
Sorry, it cut out a little bit, Beatrice. That's all.
Okay. It's going to be very interesting to share this with you, and I'm looking forward to have the panel discussion afterwards. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Over to you, Maria.
Good evening, and thanks for the invitation, Rebecca, for this event. I'm Maria Miku. I'm a finance executive with around 2 decades experience in capital markets, international clearing, financial services in banking and asset management, with various P&L responsibility roles. I'm currently a finance executive director in charge with the digital and the finance transformation of the investment management function within Zurich Insurance in Switzerland. Actively driving the digital strategy, and part of it, I set up a digital innovation hub in charge with internal and external initiatives. Additionally, I hold several advisory, board member, and jury roles in different international startup events from the fintech community in Switzerland, and I'm very passionate about the innovation topics. Be it exponential technologies, be it capital markets transformation, and any other ways of intertwining the technology with the human and the society. Happy to be here and to share with you my learnings.
Thanks, Maria. Zanera, over to you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I want to say that I'm very excited to be a part of this panel, not only because of these amazing women that I'm sharing this panel with, but also because an all-women panel is not as common as it should be, unfortunately. So I really appreciate the efforts put in by SFTA to organize this event today. A bit about me. I'm originally from Pakistan. I've moved to Switzerland a little over a year ago, unfortunately spent a lot of time indoors. I work as a senior developer at the BIS. My day-to-day work involves business intelligence and data visualization. I'm involved with the business users in requirement gathering and ideation to understand their needs for visuals and turning quantitative data into visuals. So I try to understand their different requirements, whether it is having an easy access to raw data so that they can interact for day-to-day analysis, or trying to identify patterns and insights from the raw data, or reporting on different KPIs, or even just trying to tell a data story through visuals. And that is obviously followed by the development process of those visuals, which is complemented by a knowledge of visualization best practices, design principles, and an understanding of visual systems, so that in the end we don't end up with a dashboard or a report of just random graphs and charts, but we end up with a product which is an effective form of communication. And I'm also involved with other teams to make sure that our BI platform is well supported. So that's a bit about me, and I'm really, again, very excited to be here. So over to you, Rebecca.
That's great. Thanks, Unair. Okay, so thanks for the introduction. So just to put a first question to you, so we understand a little bit more about where you are today, but Angie, can you tell me a bit about your journey? So tell me how you got to where you are today in the field of innovation.
So my journey began a few years back, and my interest in innovation was due to the challenges that I faced personally and as a working mom. I thought that the available solutions for me as a working mom, and also as an entrepreneur who's trying to build her business, were not conducive to my needs and also to my friends. So this journey prompted me to begin my entrepreneurial journey. I first created a magazine where I could support me with my small business. And it was really one of the first magazines that was able to give small business owners a platform. Back then, around 6 years ago, it was very difficult for small business owners to get featured in a magazine or anything. So I created that. And this journey also resulted to me wanting to connect with other women. And I wasn't sure how I was going to connect with that, because I was not from here. I come from Kenya originally, and I had stayed here, and I wanted to connect with others. So this prompted me to create a co-working space for women. And then during this journey also, I realized so many women had needs similar to mine, and the financial ecosystem wasn't able to accommodate them. So I started to create a platform, a financial platform where women could get a network for women, and also a digital bank where it focuses on women's needs, together with Women Plus, including transgender who identify as women, because in my network, I also met many transgender who identify and live as women, but they weren't sure where they belong, and they wanted to belong somewhere. So this prompted me to create Fair Money, and yeah, so this is where I am now.
Thank you very much, Andy. Beatrice, same question to you. Could you tell us a little bit more about your journey and how you went through the field of innovation?
Yes, yes. Of course, when I started, as it is so long time ago, the field was very difficult for women. You can imagine that in the banking sector, there were not many, especially not in leading position. So of course, as my goal was always to try to go up the ladder, and I tried, of course, to be very open-minded, curious, and with great passion. I tried to be involved in many different, and through those projects, I had the opportunity to make my career. As I said at the beginning, I made all my career in the same company, and I found that I always had my place. But of course, I could see that there were a lot of men around. Nowadays, it looks like funny when we speak about that. And what I always also did is it was to look after in clubs or in other environment that I can also include other women or help them to be be solid and to go on. It was a very nice journey. I say it was because, of course, now about my main job that I had at UBS, I'm just early retired, but it was a very well experience, and the message that I can really bring out to young women in this job, that they never give up, just go on. And actually nowadays, I think it's much different. There are a lot of possibilities for man and woman, and for all people who really try to be in this business. So yes, it's wonderful years. Fine.
Insights. Over to you, Maria. To tell us a little bit about your journey through the world of innovation.
In my case, it was more of a natural move. It developed together with my career. It was not intentional. I didn't start my career to work in innovation. So I started my career in audit, finance, and accounting, and I learned a lot of discipline, how to deal with processes, how to learn business models. I understood different industries, and I always had an interest and a curiosity in to learn, improve, and change things that I would do. I usually got bored with the repetitive tasks when I was younger. So in my career, I had several pain points as an auditor and accountant. One of that was dealing with large sets of data, unstructured data, time spent so much on reconciliations. So I had to learn myself basic coding skills. At the time, 20 years ago, there were other languages. Now I tried to work with different IT systems and automated tasks and so on. And later with Zurich, in my team, in my finance and reporting team, I even started recruiting people with data science because I knew how important this is. Also, I got involved in the ecosystem to learn a little bit more. So I wanted to develop myself and understand more what's happening on the market. And the acceleration moment, or the trigger moment, let's say, the trigger was the digitalization strategy that we embarked some years ago, where I volunteered to take a very big role and drive a strategic project for digitalization, where I learned a lot of skills. So if I were to summarize my secret sauce, let's say, was passion and curiosity, a lot of motivation for the topic. That's very important. Grasping the opportunity that is on the table, raising the hands because I asked to be included on that specific project. So I initially took the initiative to be on the project, and a lot of patience for the learning curve, patience for the change that is needed in companies when they embrace innovation, and a lot of perseverance in the process.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Over to you, Zinera, and tell us a little bit about your journey.
My journey is also a bit unconventional. I actually do not have a technical degree. I did my master's in business administration, and after graduating, I struggled a bit to find the kind of job that I wanted. I eventually ended up in a level 1 support role in a tech organization. Not exactly the dream job that I had in mind, but I was eager to just start working. So I took that opportunity. And it was a very new environment for me because I was surrounded by these technical experts and these developers, and I was fascinated by the kind of work that they were doing. So a couple of years into not enjoying the kind of work that I was doing, I decided to do something about it. So I started talking to my colleagues about what they're doing, how they're doing it, and how I can get involved coming from a non-technical educational background. And I was very lucky to receive some very good guidance and advice from my colleagues at that point in time. And there began my long journey of learning and reskilling and building up my technical skills from scratch, through taking courses or through doing volunteer work for my colleagues or shadowing them or through mentorships and all of those things. And after a few years, I was able to reach to a level where I could apply and be considered for a position in the data analytics team of my organization. And fortunately, I was selected for it, and the learning just kept on continued from there on, from one technology to the other, depending on which project we were doing. And eventually I ended up with data visualization, which I'm very passionate about, and I really enjoy doing that. So yeah, my journey started from a role which I was not happy with to today, where I wake up every day and do something that I really like to do. So it's been a long journey, but I think it's safe to say that it's been absolutely worth it.
That's great. All about perseverance. That's great. Thank you, Janera. Okay, so moving on, and we've had some great questions from the people who signed up to the event. So thank you very much for sending them in. We have quite a diverse range of questions. A question to Angie. So you sort of touched on the challenges that you faced in your introduction, but tell us a little bit more about, tell us the challenges that you found as a woman in innovation.
Personally, as a woman in innovation, the challenges that I faced were, I was a mom and a working mom. So I had many needs that other people who are not working mothers cannot understand. And also I was a small business owner. So which means my capabilities and everything that I have around me is limited as a small business owner. So you have to improvise. You have to come up with new ideas on your own in order to succeed. It's not like you work in a corporation where everything you just have it. You just have to improvise. So these challenges are the ones that really made me to start thinking and improvising and finding new ways to improve what's available for me. So in the beginning I was a working mom. Yes, I would like to create my business. Okay, well, how do I support myself? How do I get my business out there? How can people see me and buy from me? This is a big challenge. And back then, it was like 7 years before, it was really, really difficult. So these challenges of having limited resources, I had very limited resources, are the ones that made me to improvise and create other ways. And during this process, I realized, okay, I'm not the only one. There are many people out there like myself. So this is the reason why I started to improvise by creating a platform for small business owners. Back then, it was very, very rare. And back then, being in a magazine was the thing. If your business was not in the magazine, then you just want to be in a magazine cover, or you want to get your business into the magazine or into the newspaper, but that was almost very difficult. So I created a platform that could give small business owners like myself and really the opportunities so that they can also be able to be seen. And the magazine was very successful. Unfortunately, with the current events, the magazines are no more the thing. So it was really like this. And then later, I created a huge network through the magazine, and also I connected with many other women and mothers like myself. So we kept on discussions and discussing about different struggles that they go through. In many of them, I'm a very open person. It's unlike others who they're not open like myself. I'm somebody who asks. If I need something, I speak. So many people are not like me. And this was really difficult because most of them, they kept to themselves, but they would confide in somebody who they think that they can relate to. And most of the times, because I know what it means to be a mom and also a working mom, or you want to start your own business and you have a struggle. So I was always open and they felt comfortable to speak with me. So this experience also, I realized that we are just talking, we are expressing our challenges, but we need to do something. Otherwise, there will be no change. So this is the reason why I thought, okay, we need really to emphasize on the challenges that women and mothers face directly. Really. So this is why I thought, okay, and I did a lot of research, and I created Fair Money, and with the aim of addressing women at large, including trans women who identify and live as women because they are women and they want to feel to be addressed like that and to be in this same community with the women. And in the financial sector, there isn't at the moment something that addresses them. So I decided we're going to create something that really addresses all these together. And this is how it.
Thank you very much for your story, Angie. Okay, now I'm going to put a question to Maria. Maria, can you tell me what does innovation mean to you?
Mm-hmm. I think there's a broad spectrum of innovation, and some of it more visible than the other ones. And if we think about the massively transformative industries or innovation, like the Elon Musk moonshots, which are very, very visible to us, and compare it to the less visible innovation that happens daily in companies in terms of product optimization, in terms of process optimization and services optimization. So there is a big range of innovation that people talk about. I think there's also a confusion of terms. A lot of people consider innovation as being just technology. And coming back to your question, for me, this is much more. Innovation is much more than technology. It's just a tool. Innovation is a mindset, is a leadership issue, topic, is about the culture in the companies, and it's also a process at the end of the day. For me, most important element is the cultural element and the leadership element. Culture enables the innovation to flourish, to happen again and again. People to be empowered, to be able to be creative, to be able to brainstorm, break down the silos, and to even fail fast. So leadership is very important to support this culture, to role model it, and make sure that the teamwork is there, the co-creation happens, the brainstorming happens, the creativity happens. And here diversity plays a big role. And I'm happy to talk, I'm happy to be with you tonight to talk about also diversity, because a diverse talent and workforce is essential for co-creation. It's what I like to call the collective intelligence that a company has, where people's brains are put together to create a product or a service for the client. So my focus in general is on sustainable innovation and on innovation that does not disappear overnight or is a one-off event or random event. So I'm very passionate about looking at ways how to sustain an innovation process in a company. If we were to think at some business cases of Nokia or Kodak years ago, who were really very big innovative companies, and now we don't talk anymore about their products. This is an example for me to really remember all the time that innovation you must sustain, you must have a process, you must sustain it over time.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, and actually, we received a number of questions about that from the people attending the event. So I'm sure they'd like to come and sit at the table with you afterwards and networking and discuss the subject. So questions for Zinera now. How can we encourage women in innovation? How can we encourage more women to get involved?
I think the encouragement actually needs to begin really early on in our schools, colleges, and universities. We need to encourage our young girls to take up more STEM subjects. We need to make them aware of the possibilities that are there. in terms of career and their professional life once they take up these STEM subjects. I think over the years there's been not enough women entering into the workforce. So the encouragement needs to start at that level. There are a lot of initiatives that have come up in the previous years which encourage women's participation, young girls' participation in STEM. One initiative that I can think of right now is called Girls Who Code. They encourage young girls, schoolgirls, college girls to start coding. They provide them the resources and the platform and the support that they need, and they encourage them and motivate them to get involved. So I think we need more such initiatives, and the encouragement needs to begin from there. In addition to that, I think organizations need to strive towards a more diverse work culture. In the past few years, we've seen that a lot of big tech organizations have been called out on the lack of their diversity. And I think a big factor that discourages women is when they don't see enough role models in tech, entering tech or STEM careers. So the organizations need to work on their recruitment processes to attract more diverse talent. And in addition to that, in addition to building a diverse workforce, another problem that we see is that the retention rate of women in such careers is also very low, because a lot of women do not move on to the leadership roles. So when we talk about equality, inclusion, and diversity, it's not just at the hiring level. They need to be given equal rights when it comes to career progressions and future opportunities. So I think we need to see more women in leadership roles, and that can only be done if the organizational culture and the attitude towards diversity and inclusion is changed.
That's excellent. Thank you. And so a follow-up question, how can we as women already in the field of innovation, how can we best support each other?
I think I would tie this back to my previous answer. If there is a lack of women role models. So if you are a woman who has reached a certain position, it's very important to share your story with other women so that they can see that they have an example that they can look up to, and be open to helping others. I got to where I am today because there were a lot of people who were willing to help me out, women as well as men. But it is important for you to ask for help. Do not be intimidated by the fact that you're coming from a diverse background, whether it's an educational background or ethnicity or whatever. I came from a very different educational background, and I was initially intimidated asking for help and moving towards that. But the thing is, you need to understand you with your diverse background bring a unique perspective to the table. So do not be afraid to ask for help. If you do see someone that has reached a certain position and you look up to them, reach out to them, try asking them for mentorship or advice, or try asking for their story and see how you can sort of strive towards the same goal and the same position that they're in.
Excellent, thank you very much. And so following on the theme of mentoring then, Beatrice, a question to you. What advice would you give to somebody who's looking for a mentor?
The advice that I would give, I have the following. If you are in a quite big company, a large scales, and this company provides a possibility of mentoring, I strongly encourage to take this advantage of connection. Choose an influential person who can help you to move forward. This person in his role will accompany you and will be your confidant. You will listen to what you need. He will listen, or her, what you need, and will be able to share, of course, anyone who is influential will be in a better position if a decision has to be made for a job, and would certainly afterwards offer you more easily this job, because you are already connected to influence person. If you're in a smaller company or you don't, then of course I would give you the advice to look around, to be with people that you can can really choose between a mentor female or masculine. This is up to you. What's the best exchange that you have for sharing ideas, and in the sharing of the ideas is also to have to respect the view of each other. But I also know that there are in several club services that possible. People are really with great help. They will stay and be in front of you and be really helpful. I think.
We seem to have lost Beatrice. Is it just me, or?
I think she's having
some problems. Okay. Beatrice, are you back?
I haven't finished, but it's time over.
Yeah. No, not at all. We lost your camera, unfortunately, but yeah, thank you. So can I ask you then just one final question? In just generally, what advice would you give to somebody starting out in the field of innovation? Oh, I think we've lost her again. Okay. Well, while we're getting Beatrice back, then I'll put the question out to one of you ladies if you'd like to take it. Just general advice that you would give to somebody in starting out in the field of innovation.
So I think you have to start somewhere, and I think raising your hand and putting yourself up to take a new role inside the company, or if you just graduated from university, doing a very good due diligence of which companies you can work in this field. And there are so many out there that are, because innovation now is part of the strategies on the agenda of any board of directors. So it's a very, very top priority on any company. So a search according to your qualifications, the right company. So this will be the first step, I would say, if you just are fresh coming out from university. If you already have a job and you are a little more specialized, let's say, more career experience, I think this is a topic which everybody's interested in. It looks very good in terms of learning curve. It looks very good in the CV. So there are a lot of people that are interested to work in this kind of strategic project and transformation project or change management project. So I would really recommend to leverage your internal network, talk to your peers. Of course, if you have mentors, it helps. And raise your hand. There's going to be nobody that will really think about you unless you have a really special technical technical background. I think proactivity is very important.
Thanks.
And of course, the network inside the company and understanding, of course, what's the outcome of the project or what's the product out of it. So a little bit of courage. I know some women don't take these kind of initiatives. So I think it's time we do.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. So thank you to all our speakers. It seems that some of them unfortunately have had some technical issues, but they'll still be available in the networking area. So we're going to switch over to the networking format now. Just for the attendees, so you're aware, there are actually two floors. You'll see on the left-hand side of the screen that you can switch between first and second floor. So don't hesitate to go and roam around. Like most places right now, we don't have a restaurant. Everything's closed, so don't expect to find that either. But feel free to move around the tables. Talk with our speakers. You'll see our speakers' tables also down the sides of the screen that you're looking at, and to ask them further questions about topics that we've covered today. Thank you once again. Gabriel, back to you to switch us back to the floor.